Hey YouTube, this is Grim from Team Noise Tanks. Lately I've been seeing a lot of Junk Warrior decks that I really don't like. One, because they're not tournament playable, and two, they're pretty much kind of fanboy decks. And to me, that's just a waste of time on YouTube. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you my Junk Overload deck. And actually has a purpose to it. It's tournament playable, it has a lot of good strategies in it, and it's highly modifiable. I'll start off with my three main tuners of the deck. Quick Draw Synchron. Pretty much he replaces any Synchron monster that includes Synchron in its name, like Junk Warrior, Nitro Synchron, Turbo Synchron, stuff like that. Plus the fact that he's a tuner, he can be special summoned when I discard one monster card from my hand to the graveyard. Usually great combos for that would be Tuning Wear, Level Leader, Majestic Dragon. Pretty good card in this deck. Second, we have Junk Synchron. Pretty much he's the Fisher from the graveyard for my deck, pretty much. The reason being that you can target just about anything and then its effect will be negated. So Majestic Star Dragon works great in this deck since I can use it for either a Synchro Summon of a level 4 or 5, or I can Synchro Summon with it into Majestic Star Dragon, I'm sorry. Next we have Level Leaders. Level Leaders are pretty much the combo of this deck. By discarding this card for Quick Draw Synchron, I can special summon Quick Draw, then reduce his level by 1 to make him a 4 and get Level Leader out. And I can synchro with him to get Junk Warrior, which is great, which is a great part of this deck. Then I can reduce Junk Warrior's level, by 1 in order to special summon that from the graveyard, making my Junk Warrior into a 31 beater. No, 29 beater. Next we have 3 Tuning Wear. The small time draw engine for this deck when I don't have a hand, since I can fish him out with, like I said before, Junk Synchron, or I can tune with him and still get the draw. Level 1 tuner, great card in this deck. Next we have 2 Marauding Captains, pretty much so we can get the special summon off of them, plus the fact that level 3s, and I can pretty much use them for level 6 Synchro, level 4 Synchro, level 5, etc, etc. They're warriors, so they're good for Rhoda, and they have a sick effect, so when they're normal summon I can special summon again a level 4 or lower monster from my hand, which is great. Next we have 1 Sangan. Since a lot of the cards in here are searchable, so he's just a great staple to have, period. Next we have 1 Mist Valley Soldier. The level 4 tuner just so I can get my tuners out faster. Well, more like my synchros out faster, not tuners, I'm sorry. 17 beater, and when he attacks into a monster that's not destroyed, I can bounce that monster right back to the owner's hand at the end of the damage step. Next we have 1 Crabons. Pretty much a stall card, but he's a level 2, and he's a good tuner. He's a dark, just because I like darks. 1200 beater, not really something you want to brag about, but can come in handy either way. 1 Treeborn Frog, because I have about 5 cards or 4 cards in here that I can tribute for, so that helps out. Next we have 1 Jinzo. Pretty much, since I don't run a lot of traps, I don't want to be running into any problems, so I'll get him out as fast as I can if I draw him. If not, he's a good combo card for the level leaders, and I can tune with him into a level 8 once he's level 5. Pretty much anything, any high level tuning material, pretty much. Cyber Dragon, he's just in there for the special summon. You never know when he might come in handy. He's just a good card to have in this deck. And then lastly, we have 2 Kai's Shadow Monarchs to get rid of anything that's a problem at the moment or that I might be concerned with, like Face Down Mirror Forces, Threatening Roars, which you can still chain to him, but just to know that you got it off the field is a pretty good feeling. He's a level 6, so he's another high level tuner. That high level monster I can use for tuning. He's a 24 beater, 1000 defense, not something really you want to have a defense, but he does come in handy, no doubt, in this deck. That's it for the monsters. Now we have the spells. I have 1 Heavy Storm, 1 Giant Trunade, 1 MST, pretty much the basic staples of this deck just to get rid of anything, since it can become an OTK if you play it right. So you don't want any back rows and bothering you or probably messing around with your brain. Next we have 1 brain control and 1 mind control. Just for the control monsters, just getting rid of that monster that's become a problem, like Gores, and then using level leader to bring it back, reduce it by 1. He's a level 6, etc., etc. Just to clear the field pretty much. Next we have 1 Fissure and 1 Lightning Vortex. Pretty much the monster moves of the deck. Not something big for either, but since it can become an LTK, I'm not gonna say it is because it can and cannot. Just a great card to have in there. Next we have 1 for 1, 1 Rhoda. Pretty much the search cards of the deck. Rhoda pretty much targets my warriors. There's really nothing to it other than that. My 1 for 1 actually works pretty good since I can target 7 cards in my deck, and I can get a special summon, and then I contribute to the normal summon. So that's good. 1 card destruction, 1 hand destruction, and 1 monster gate. When I have a monster I don't really need, but I need something better, I usually use monster gate just to speed up the deck, and then pretty much get rid of anything that's not coming my way. Hand destruction, just pretty much get rid of 2 cards and draw 2 cards, and card destruction pretty much for speed as well. Next we have 1 reinforcement, the war returning alive. Pretty much I can target my junk synchrons, my marauding captains, and that's about its only function in this deck. Nothing special since I don't want to use Call of Haunted wasted on those, so I'll keep it in there. 2 Phoenix Swing Blast. Works great against cards like Cyber Valley and Fortune Lady Lady, since they can become problems and I faced them before, so I got taught a lesson to keep them in there. Next I have 1 Call of Haunted and 1 Turn to Tribute. Pretty much stable cards of any deck. Fishes out your graveyard and gets rid of the whole field. Good cards in this deck. And then lastly, 1 Force back. This deck has a lot of potential to become an LTK. So if you have the right hand, you can make it an LTK. So having 1 Force back in this deck is good enough. I would run 3, which I'm very much considering into it, but I don't know what to take out for it. Next we have my, I think this is my side deck. Yes, my side deck. We have 2 Majestic Dragon. Like I mentioned before, I do have Majestic Star Dragon. So running Majestic Dragon in this deck helps out, especially for Junk Synchron, so I can negate its effect and then use him as a regular tuner. Good card, plus he's a light, which I'm thinking about running Chaos Sorcerer in here, but I highly doubt it. We have 1 Mist Valley Soldier. I already told you pretty much what it does. 1 Gores to stop the LTKs if they come and if they're willing to sacrifice anything for it. I can pretty much get a token off of it, so I can use it as a synchro or pretty much level leader. 1 Krebons, since I do run some stall times in here. I run into stalling, so I want to have him in there just so I can pay the 800 and not have to worry about a lot. I have 1 Shiny Black Sea, pretty much to get rid of the synchros that I'm kind of run into, since I don't want anything bothering me, so I can pretty much get rid of Thought Rulers, Red Dragon, Archfiends, etc., etc. 2 enemy controllers, stall cards, and plus I can borrow their monsters to synchro with it as long as I give up one of my own, which I really don't mind doing in this deck. Next we have 2 Mirror of Oaths, just pretty much for the Glider Beast decks, Fortune Lady decks, and anything like Gemini that might be coming into that might become a problem, so I get to destroy them and draw +1, but I don't negate their effects. Either way, still a pretty good card to have in here. Next we have 2 Wicked Rebirths, pretty much the Call of Haunted for the synchros, which I don't mind paying the 800, but it's good to have in there. 1 Wabaku, staple card of the deck, which I really like siding in because not a lot of people expect Wabaku in this deck, but that comes in handy. Now these two are either going to be traded out for Wolf and Sheep's Clothing